Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all the higher praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Merkah, Quadash, honor, all praises. Brothers preaching, teaching the word of truth with sincerity, as always, all the brothers out there. In this lesson, I'm just getting into this lesson here. Just go into, I think I'm entitled this, Spirits created for vengeance, judgments, woman getting judged, judgment, woman, spirits created for vengeance, woman getting judged, and something else, which it is actually it's not now the end of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Usually me and the brother would get together and make like a sit-down lesson at the end of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. That's usually how I first started. That's usually how I wanted to end this. But yeah, and if you weren't eating unleavened bread for each day during this Feast of Unleavened Bread, that's why it's called the Feast of Unleavened Bread, because you're supposed to eat unleavened bread for each day for 7 days, not eating anything with yeast. If you weren't doing that, you were technically, just do better next time, man. Try to do that next time. Because that's what I did. That's how I did it. Literally my first Feast of Unleavened Bread. I like doing it that way better. Anyway, on back to the next video here. This is Exodus 12:15. For 7 days you are to eat bread made without yeast. On the first day remove the yeast from your houses. For whoever eats anything with yeast in it from the first day through the 7th must be cut off from Israel. Yeah, so if you weren't eating unleavened bread for the past 7 days, you're completely off, man. Maybe you didn't know. Maybe you did know. I mean, if you didn't know, that's on you. The Lord's going to judge you, and you wouldn't want to lie. That's going to be on you. Right there. So, that's the end of the Feast of. This is Exodus chapter 13 and 6. For the 7 days eat bread made without yeast, and on the 7th day hold a festival to the Lord. Con. And now certain brothers, we are in our kingdom, so we may not have the time or even the money to hold a feast on the 7th day, so may the Lord just have mercy on us and stuff. And I actually, now that I think about it, I think the Feast of Unleavened Bread might end tomorrow, sundown, not today, sundown. Come. So that's just that, but let's get in. I'm gonna get into the video. That's not the big issue. That's not really the big issue. Let's not get it all into a rowdy ass bar fight over that, but kind of. I want to get into this video, touch on this video. Second Ezra 13. 31, because this is what's gonna happen, and I also want to make this video because it just shows you that how people are losing their minds now. I was watching Cops, the season of Cops, is one episode on Cops, older one. This was around 2004. This episode was that old, like a 2004 season episode, and there was bugged out back then. I recommend you go watch one episode of that, just to give you an idea of how bugged out they were back then. And when you look at now compared to back then the economy was more better. So it just goes to show you that it doesn't matter if an economy or whatever is prosperous and good. you're still gonna have demons and bug outs causing chaos and disorder, even if a kingdom was to have a good, prosperous commerce for the people, middle, higher class. It wouldn't matter. And if the economy is that good, you're not gonna have a lower class. But even with that, you would still have serial killers, drug addicts, and bug outs, man. So it just shows you that this was designed by the Lord as well. That it's of the spirit of the Lord that ultimately prospers the kingdom, not money or wealth or how good an economy is. It just proves that it's the Lord who it's the Lord's touch. It's His magic touch that has to be upon a nation to have the nation have everybody in order and everything in order. And our kingdom, every Israelite's going to be in order. And there's not going to be one single Israelite that has demons in his mind that just looks bugged out and is just living like a hermit and just mad and angry all the time and just out of his mind. That ain't going to happen in the kingdom. This is 2 Ezra 13 and verse 31 though. But we're not in that yet. We haven't gotten to there yet, so until that day comes, we're in this kingdom we're not much glory left abide. So you're gonna have jakes that are. I was just driving earlier today, and I saw this young Jake who was talking to himself. Man, he was talking to his demons. So you have Jakes, Israelites that are just bugged out. And me myself, man, I understand Jakes who are schizophrenic. And it's to be schizophrenic, it's a double-edged sword, because you can look like stupid and crazy to that one person, but really in your mind you're fucked up. You're suffering. You can't control it. You're fucked up, bro. So to those who judge people like that, I mean, be thankful as well. You can judge them and talk shit about them. Be thankful as well for what you have, and how the Lord blessed you, for your mind to have the patience and all that, to not have to suffer like that, bro. That shows humility. And this is 2 Ezra chapter 13 and verse 30. 31. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, and one people against another, and one realm against another. So the time is coming when that shit is gonna really go go haywire. People are gonna be losing their minds. So I'll pull up a scripture here on. Thought I had it there. Okay, here it is. I think I got it here in Jeremiah 5, verse 15. People of Israel, the Lord is bringing a nation from far to attack you. It is a strong and ancient nation, a nation whose language you do not know. Their archers are mighty soldiers who kill without mercy. They will devour your crops and your food. They will kill your sons and your daughters. They will slaughter your flocks and your herds, destroy your vines and fig trees. The fortified cities in which you trust will be destroyed by their army. 19. The Lord says, "Yet even in those days I will not completely destroy my people." 19. When they ask why I did all these things, they'll tell them Jeremiah did that. Just as they turned away from me and served foreign gods in their own land, so they will serve strangers in a land that is not theirs. And it's also going into the curses as well. So I also wanted to make a video speaking on the famine that's coming, the third war that's coming. A lot of prophecies are coming. Recently, Trump made a ceasefire. A lot of brothers have been speaking on that, so I'm not gonna make a video on that. I was just as the scriptures say. I'm gonna make my own foundation, build not upon another man's foundation. The scriptures say. There's no point in making 100 videos about speaking on the same thing, and everybody speaking on the same thing. That would just be unprofitable and stupid, to be honest. But yeah, they're around me, 28, and there's also a lot of videos I'm gonna show about objects that are just bugged out. This is Deuteronomy 28, and this is verse 20. The Lord shall send upon thee curse and vexation and rebuke and all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. So when something bad happens to you, or better yet, when you see something bad, you're in this truth and you see something bad happen to one of these 2/3 out here like that, that's because they have forsaken the Lord. They ultimately forsaken the Lord, and that destroyed there for them is going into literally until I be destroyed and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. On down it says 28, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. And this is ultimately a lot with our own people. It doesn't really happen as much with the heathens, but with our own people who lose their minds, because these heathens, they are in their kingdom. They can worship false idols. The Lord ain't really looking at them closely like that. He's not judging that on them. He's not judging them on that level like that. But if you're an Israelite, that's why most of the Israelites, every time you look at the news, it's an Israelite committing crime, a black man committing crime, doing some weird ass shit. So that's not just really a stereotype, but that's also even something that actually happens. A lot of niggas do commit crime, man. That's not even like really just like a stereotype, really. A lot of Israelites who end up molesting kids too. You have that. A lot of times it is Israelites, man, because we're cursed. So we're gonna see this with these clips I'm gonna play. I also did this last week with these clips that I played. I'm gonna pull that one up here because yeah, where is that clip that I have? What was that last week? I don't remember.
Tonight, now in Flagler County, a woman accused of burying her newborn baby in her backyard is back in jail tonight, now facing a murder charge.
That's right. A grand jury handed down the indictment earlier today. West 2's Patrick Perez live in the newsroom tonight. And Patrick, this woman is also facing some other criminal charges as well.
Yeah, summer detectives have been building this case since the initial arrest a month ago, and now they believe.
Listening to that video, but I think I lost the video, but it was recent too, man. It was this young Jake, looked like Northern Kingdom, who was caught. I showed it in one video. He was caught taking this little boy to the back room somewhere to touch him, man. So that whole thing of Israelites being all perfect, that shit is all fables, man. You got Israelites that do some real sick ass shit out here, man. That touch kids, that pedophiles too, man, and murderers, man, and just beat on their parents and shit like that, bro. You got some sick ass Israelites out here, man. That whole innocent shit is all out the window, man.
She may have planned her baby's death. This new photo shared by the Flagler County Sheriff's Office shows 20-year-old Ann Mae Demagillo in handcuffs again after turning herself in at the county jail Monday evening. A grand jury heard her case earlier in the day. She's now charged with first-degree premeditated murder, aggravated child abuse, and failure to report the death of a person with intent to conceal the death. The indictment follows a month-long investigation by Flagler County detectives. They initially arrested her on an aggravated manslaughter charge back on March 6 after accusing her of giving birth to her baby and then leaving the newborn in a toilet to die.
She sees it in the toilet, leaves it there, watches it, hears it cry, and waits until it stops crying and moving. She hid the infant in a duffel bag in her closet and went about her normal daily routine.
From there, deputies say Demagillo went to her college performing in a play at the Little Theater in New Smyrna Beach. When she returned home, they say Demagillo buried her baby in the backyard. Since her initial arrest, detectives have learned she had searches on her phone for newborn premature babies, Palm Coast OBGYN, and Foods to Decrease Fertility. Deputies say they also found on her phone images of Casey Anthony and newborn babies. In a statement, Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley says, in part, I commend our investigators who followed every lead in our digital forensics team that uncovered the digital evidence to prove this tragic case was a premeditated murder. Demagillo had been out on bond since March 12th when she was released from jail and ran from cameras.
Let's look at that.
From there, deputy backyard. Deputies say they also found Demagillo buried her baby in the backyard. This tragic case was a premeditated murder. Demagillo had been out on bond since March 12th when she was released from jail and ran from cameras.
So she's back in jail. She's back in jail, if I'm not mistaken. That's our partner should put her back in jail. So a woman like that's supposed to be put to death. Scriptures say, the law on murder in Leviticus, Lord has a law on murder. You brothers already know that. This is for those who don't know. Leviticus 24:17 is, by the way, it says this. Anyone who takes the life of a human being is to be put to death, man. Yeah, your ass is to be put to death, man. So if you commit murder, that woman's there, that young girl there, she's supposed to be put to death there, man. Hold on, man. So, yeah, that's the problem with Jake. Just because someone looks hip or whatever, or all in style, they want to all of a sudden raise that man up, that individual up. No. No, look at their actions, look at their behavior. That shit doesn't matter. Jake is simple, man. You want to see a nigga with fringes on, quoting scriptures all of a sudden, you want him to think he's a man of the Lord all of a sudden, bro. You gotta fucking use discernment, man. If it's that fucking hard to goddamn tell. And it's Leviticus 24:17. Anyone who takes the life of a human being is to be put to death. Yeah, and that goes along with King Bond and shit, man. If King Bond was standing in front of me right now, bro, I would be able to tell, man. There's something ain't right about that dude's spirit, man. He has a very dark consonant spirit behind him, man. But you simple ass people out here, man, you don't do that. You just look at the fame and the outer appearance, and then you want to all of a sudden, just because they can say hi and smile at you and greet you, you want to pass them off as a stand-up person. You don't know who that person next to you in the grocery store or in the stoplight it could be. You don't fucking know. You got people out here with heavy ass demons on them, and you wanna think they're all cool, innocent, safe to be around and to praise. So yeah, that young girl there, even though as pretty as she looks, she would have to be put to death there because she just murdered her baby. Anyone who takes the life of a human being is to be put to death. Leviticus 24:17 in the King James. He that killeth from any man shall surely be put to death. He that killeth any man shall surely be put to death. Please do that. And then I'm gonna. Yeah, man, and this is Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou should be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will always forget thy children. Yeah, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. What did the Lord say? The Lord told us that once you implement these laws, statutes, and commandments, then you shall be looked at as the wisest nation on earth. Till that day happens, man, we're not going to be looked at as anything or anybody. We're going to be looked at as equals. The Lord doesn't want us to be looked at as equals, man. He wants us to be looked at as better, above that nation. When another nation looks at us, the Lord wants that nation, the man of that nation, the woman of that nation, to stand in awe. Have their heart stop, man, when they're looking at us, man. When they think about us, man. That's how it's supposed to be. But you jakes don't want that, man. Because it's not, and ultimately you can't blame yourself, because it's not in your spirit to want that. The Lord has put the spirit in you to not want to seek that. And it's Deuteronomy 4 and verse. Ultimately, they'll come back in the kingdom to understand it. On this side, few of the Lord chose few of his people to get it, to repent, and then most our people not to really fully understand this word and receive it. Else to repent. It's Isaiah 6:9. This is that's in Isaiah 6:9. This is Deuteronomy 4. The point is in verse 7. What other nation is so great as to have their powers, or they should say their power, near to them, near them the way the Lord Yahweh, our power, is near us whenever we pray to him? And what other nation is so great as to have such righteous decrees and laws as this body of laws I am setting before you today? Yep. And really, man, the Lord wanted it this way for most of our people to be blinded. That's the Lord wanted it. Because the Lord told us that we would serve other gods in the land that is not our own. I'm reading that a lot in Jeremiah. I read that earlier today, and I pull that up here. Hence why you have accounts like that. You have certain of our people like that young girl there that murdered her baby there, like that would do things like that. You have a lot of Judah too, and that one was Israelite, but you got a lot of Judite women too that would kill their babies. There's a story. I remember a story of this young black couple who from the hood and who had an issue, an altercation about using the microwave. Particularly, the woman did. And that black woman killed her man because she wanted to use the microwave. You have stories of young child murderers, man, who murdered their mothers, their fathers, man, and stuff like that, bro. Even just as kids, I remember I was around a lot of kids when I was young. My mother babysat kids, took care of kids. So when I see a lot of kids, it gives me back memories of that and stuff. But anyway, man, yeah. I remember them. The movie came out of Michael Myers and that one with Rob Snyder, the director. That one bloody ass one that with all those scary ass. I remember having nightmares from that for a whole month after seeing a movie like that as a young kid. And it's like, why should bad, why should, why, if a kingdom is such a respected, look at the morals, man. Where are the morals at? Where's the standard at? See, this world doesn't have standard. That's hence why you have movies like that, like Michael Myers, like that. You're not. It's bugged out if you have movies like that. Shit like the fucking stupid ass show on Netflix that came out yesterday. That stupid ass shit called what was that shit called? With that one nigga. Why would you even have a show like that to show a fucking serial killer like that? They're basically glorifying it. And those who watch it are also stupid as fucking glorifying that shit by you watching that. So you're stupid too if you watch that shit, man. I mean, if you do watch something like that though, just keep that in mind though. How that shit ain't supposed to even be existent though, bro. That shit is off. Just keep that in mind if you do go and watch it. Like, I'm not saying you're a complete horrible person if you go and watch that. Sometimes I might want to go and watch Final Destination, older ones. Newer ones suck, but the older ones. But yeah, man, this like that movie Michael Myers with Rob Snyder though. The point I wanted to make on that is they should have a scene where he kills his sister. He kills his this young little child he's killing like literally in front of the screen, bro. Like, think about that for a second. That's not even supposed to be. That shouldn't even be something that should be shown like that. And then they made millions off of that. Yeah, so that shit is off. But going back to the point, the curses, man. The Lord told us that we were gonna be here to serve other gods of wood and stone. This is Jeremiah 15 and 14. I will make them serve their enemies in a land they know nothing about, because my anger is like fire and it will burn forever. And I also have Jeremiah 16 verse 13. So then I will throw you out of this land into a land that neither you nor your ancestors have ever known. And there you would serve other gods day and night, and I will show you no mercy. Yeah, and the Lord said right there he would show us no mercy. But when I thought about that scripture, and I literally read this earlier today, and when I read it, this verse here in particular, and there you would serve other gods day and night, and I will show you no mercy. I will throw you out of this land into a land neither you nor your fathers have known, and you serve other gods day and night. I will show you no mercy. And when I thought about the scripture here, it answered my question, bro. Like, why would the Lord have us serving things we don't even know, making us born in this life without even knowing who we were till we got older? Now it makes sense though, because right here it says, it was a prophecy, Jeremiah 16:13, and there you will serve other gods day and night, and I will show you no mercy. The no mercy, they're going into how Jake told us today, you're gonna have Jake's serving that Christ fucking God, fucking cross and wooden stupid God there, and stupid shit like that, man. That Jake worships his simple ass. So yeah, man. Jeremiah 14 and just Jeremiah 12 and 13. My people have planted wheat but gathered weeds. They have worked hard, but I got nothing for it. Because of my fierce anger, their crops have failed. Yeah, because we done made the Lord angry. And to the Lord, once again, not just, Lord ain't just angry, but when you think about it, the Lord's a big He's a what's that? What the? When you think about it, bro, basically, I'm trying to find the word for it. The Lord's on a whole another level. Time is different to the Lord. 1,000 years to the Lord is only one day to him. So you piss a guy like that off that has that much power. That's why, and that's how we done got our people. A lot of our people and ourselves got judgments that are like crazy, like diabolical, like vengeful, very vengeful, like wow, like this is shit that you hear about and you're like, wow, why would the Lord do something like that? It's such cliche stuff, things we always say, but I'm actually gonna explain why though, bro. Because it's like that because the Lord is like, when you think about the Lord once again, it's like think about like a fucking volcano, man, a thunderstorm, or how the storm in the sea can roar. That's the Lord's power. That's what we're dealing with. That's why it's comes off like that, bro. The Lord is also called the King of Terrors, man. That's the King of Terrors. That's why it feels like that, man, sometimes. And you're like, wow, why would the Lord do something like that? That's why. So I think about what you're dealing with here, man. You're dealing with a great power here, man. That's why it can be like that. It can feel like that. Because to us, we're just worms once again. You can do something to a worm that, yeah. That's why David told his Lord to remember mercy. Judge him not to be destroyed. I'm gonna find another clip here. That was the Latina girl. She looks like she's 13, and she just maybe 15. She just killed her baby. I'm gonna play this one here. This is an Edomite though. Edomites do crazy shit too.
Now on those.
Then again, that could be an Israelite though. You never know.
Human remains found inside suitcases in a very remote area of Palm Bay called the Compound. Police now say they have a motive, a method, and a man in jail.
And Fox 35's Marie Ettinger is here with the latest details. Marie.
The man arrested in this case isn't just accused of murder. He's accused of targeting sex offenders, cutting up their bodies, and saving microscope slides with their DNA. People online are comparing this to the show Dexter. I talked with a forensic psychiatrist who said the same thing. Lucas Jones had originally been brought in for disposing of human remains, but a new arrest warrant describes not just a horrible murder, but something allegedly targeted and planned, with evidence alleged to show future targets too. His arrest report accuses him of printing out a list of convicted sex offenders who lived near him and picking Cody Lee Daniel. Police say Jones told his girlfriend he killed Daniel with a baseball bat, used a cleaver, saw, and knife to dismember him, placed the body parts in separate suitcases and bags, then hid them in the compound, but not before keeping a microscope slide with biological matter. I talked about that with a forensic psychiatrist not affiliated with this case.
Particularly with serial killers, you'll hear people keeping trophies or reminders of the crime. But I've actually never heard of someone keeping like a DNA slide. I've only seen that on Dexter.
A search warrant affidavit says detectives are still looking for Daniel's torso and are hoping a search of Lucas's phone will help them find it. They did find Daniel's skull with signs of blunt force trauma, a medical examiner reported.
For any crime like this, history of violence, history of victimization, drug and alcohol history, other criminal history, that's also a risk factor.
Court records show Jones doesn't have any criminal history outside of being an aggressive driver. A few months ago, police say he was driving recklessly and caused a rollover crash that hurt two of his friends in the car. Crystal Wilson witnessed that wreck and said at the time she thought he should have served jail time for it. She hadn't heard about his murder arrest until I told her.
That is crazy.
Yes.
They should have put him in jail. They should have put him in jail. He wouldn't have done that.
He's weird that his friend is that old, but that's bugged out. That was pretty bugged out. I mean, technically, it depends on what the sex offense was. Was it a child or? Because technically speaking, if you pop a 15-year-old, you're not really technically, according to, if this was an intro, you technically wouldn't be going off, but because we're in our captivity, that would be off. So if he like killed somebody that was a pedo like that, and that's a sex, if he was on the sex offender list, but somehow, some way got out, because they can still get out and return back to common society, which just shows you how corrupt this system is too. Cause, and that's why shit is so out of balance and bugged out, because you have shit like that. Then you wonder why you have demons out here like this on people's heads and minds and like that. That's why the scriptures say in Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and 19. I mean, Matthew 24, verse 12, because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. Yeah, because you got all this increase in wickedness out here. So demons are gonna be increased out here. Demons that's gonna empower these demons. That makes the demons strong. So. And that's why you have shit like that happens there.
People in line at Chick-fil-A ended up dodging bullets this morning. Now, a 44-year-old man in jail, and the restaurant, well, it's closed. It happened after 8 o'clock this morning in Gwinnett County, inside the restaurant on Scenic Highway in Snellville. Channel 2's Aaron Rogers is live there right now. Aaron, police say they're surprised by this shooting.
They are, Karen, because it happened at 8:20 in the morning. As you can imagine, this restaurant was packed with people. And take a look through here. You can see it all unfolded right in front of the cash register.
It's wild, honestly. I mean, it's sad.
People and police alike.
Shocked.
Surprised at what unfolded at the Snellville Chick-fil-A just before 8:30 Tuesday morning.
Because there were several people inside.
Two of those people, police tell me, got into an argument.
We're standing in line to order food directly in front of the cash registers.
Then police say the victim got physical.
He punched him, and then the suspect pulled the gun. Once the victim realized that he had pulled a gun, he was turning around running for the door, and the suspect was firing at him.
The victim got shot once, but should be okay. Police arrested 44-year-old Jamal Jenkins in the restaurant.
I don't understand why people are so on edge these days. They're so angry.
I spoke to a man with Chick-fil-A off camera who told me the staff is shaken up, but everyone is okay.
It worries me.
Roger Peacock works nearby and says he pulled up to see police everywhere.
There was cars in the back, and they wasn't letting anybody in here, and there was people walking all over the place at Chick-fil-A.
He says he goes to this Chick-fil-A often and just ate there Monday.
The way people act now, it's not surprising.
Police want people to put the guns down.
Worth, going to prison for murder or aggravated assault for years. I mean, it's just not worth it.
Again, this Chick-fil-A is closed, but it will reopen tomorrow morning at 6:30. As for Jenkins, he is facing several charges, including aggravated assault as well.
But they're saying why he's like this. Maybe because Matthew right there, it says prophesy right there. This is what happened. And it's only going to increase. Matthew 24 and 12. Because the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. That's what the Savior said was going to happen. His name is Yahweh Shai, not Jesus. And he's a so-called black man. So-called black because there's no such thing as black. There's different shades of brown, so we're not called black. The Lord didn't call us black. Matter of fact, he called Esau red. Esau's nation's really called a color. We're not. Whereas, but today he's called. He's still called a color. He's called white, but that's better than being called red, and it's better than being called black, especially if your nation wasn't meant to be called black. So you just are cursed. You who can't see that, you're fucking stupid. That should piss you off, right there. What I just said there, that should piss your ass off. If you're not, you fucking ain't right, and your spirit ain't right. And on top of it, the Lord is gonna increase the judgments on people. It's Iraq 39 and 28. There are. Yeah, so yeah, this is Iraq 39 and verse down. It says 27. All these things are good to the godly, so the sinners they are turned into evil. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in the fury on sore strokes in the time of destruction they pour out their wrath and appease the wrath of him that made them.
Later, Bobby was a prostitute, but most of the other victims were. Almost all were heavy drug users, the kind criminologists sometimes call the less dead. People considered unimportant in life and often ignored in death when it comes to investigations. Like 28-year-old Rochelle Clifford Dopirala. She disappeared in April and her body was found in December in a shallow grave not far from an ATV track. She'd been beaten to death. A man named Kenneth Ponte was arrested, but there wasn't enough evidence to convict him. His ex-girlfriend was Bobby, but it wasn't him. Police questioned the last man Rochelle had been seen with, an ex-con. He was also cleared, but it turned out one of his former girlfriends was Nancy Paiva, and Paiva would become the 7th victim of the New Bedford highway killer. She was last seen leaving a bar on July 7th, 1988, after having a fight with her boyfriend. Like many of the others, she was strangled and dumped off of Interstate 195. Detectives were already learning something about the killer. He was posing the bodies, possibly part of his signature. She was placed on her back with her feet pointing to the highway. That's how police found the body of 29-year-old Deborah Medeiros. Like Paiva, she had been drinking and had fallen out with her boyfriend before she walked off, and she never came back. The killer had strangled her with her own bra, exactly how 25-year-old Deborah Lynn McConnell was murdered around the same time. He stripped some of them, he strangled others, and he likely posed some. It had to be the work of a single man. New Bedford is not a big town. The population is just over 101,000. Many of the women had known each other. They worked the same streets. They bought heroin or cocaine from the same dealers. When police found the body of 35-year-old Deborah Greenlaw DeMello, last seen in July 1988, her clothes were hanging from the branches of a tree. But more importantly, detectives found items on her that had once belonged to Nancy Paiva. It was a matter of finding the link. Someone, possibly with a history of violence and mental illness, who knew all of the women. There were plenty of suspects, some of them solid. The strongest suspect was a man named Anthony DeGrazia. He had a history of extreme violence against women. He went to jail for these incidents, but he and his lawyers claimed that this was wrongful prosecution and imprisonment, citing a lack of evidence. He was the prime suspect in the Bedford murders when he was found dead in the backyard of his ex-girlfriend's parents' house in 1990. The cause of death was an overdose of pills. His family believes it was a homicide. It's never been proven that he killed all those women. The very mention of his name as a prime suspect was later retracted by the DA's office. DeGrazia's lawyer argued that calling his deceased client a suspect was false innuendo and a false accusation against an unfortunate innocent man. In other words, the evidence against DeGrazia is likely not very strong. The New Bedford highway killer remains an open case. Like the next case, another killer of the less dead. Number 8. In February 2009, a woman was walking her dog on the outskirts of West Mesa, Albuquerque. She had left the road and wandered into the desert, and that's when she saw it, a bone sticking out of the ground. But it wasn't just one. Detectives started digging. They'd found a graveyard of lost souls, 11 missing women. It was likely they'd all gone missing from 2001 to 2005. Prostitutes, all Latina, all except one. Zelania Mimi Edwards, a young African-American woman who had run away from home in Oklahoma. Another victim, Michelle Valdez, was 4 months pregnant at the time of her death. The remains of her fetus were found with her. This was the work of a serial killer. They called him the Bone Collector. 11 bodies, but many more women had gone missing back to 2001. 39-year-old Lorenzo Montoya, a local printing company employee, was a prime suspect. But he had been shot dead in 2006 after meeting 19-year-old Sharika Hall in an online chat room. She agreed to go to his house, a trailer just a few miles from where the graveyard would later be discovered. Her pimp and boyfriend, 19-year-old Frederick Williams, followed behind. When he later saw Montoya carrying the dead body of Sharika out of the trailer, he opened fire and shot Montoya dead. The police said there was no way Sharika was his first. The murder was just too brutal for it to be a one-off. When detectives had searched Montoya's trailer, they found a homemade video of him forcing himself on a woman. She was either unconscious or dead. The next scene was a wall and the sound of duct tape being stripped. The victim has never been identified. Detectives had received a lead about a possible sex trafficking ring leading back to El Salvador. It operated all over the southwestern, southern, and western United States. But there was no forensic evidence to suggest that Montoya killed the other women. The West Mesa Bone Collector case remains open. Fascinated by the darker corners of the human mind? Like, share, and subscribe for more chilling insights that you won't find anywhere else. Okay, if you like conspiracy theories, you'll love this next one. Number 7. On December 15th, 2016, Dakota James called his friend Shelly. His voice was stricken with...
So these stories are just going into this video entitled "Every Serial Killer on the Loose Today." Every serial killer on the loose today. Yeah, that shit is going off, man. But so that right there, that shit was off. But here going back to this. This is every serial killer on the loose today. This is every serial killer on the loose today. That one we went into is the West Mesa Bone Collector. The other one was a New Bedford Highway Killer. And this one's going into the Smiley Face Killer. But you notice in those last two, he was targeting private women. So you women are gonna get judged. You got spirits created for vengeance that's gonna look for a woman, targeting a woman. Micah 7 and 10. Then my enemy will see it and will be covered with shame. She who said to me, "Where is the Lord Yahweh, your power?" My eyes will see her downfall, and even now she will be trampled underfoot. Like mirror in the streets. Like a mirror in the streets. So yeah, man, you guys are gonna have spirits created for vengeance targeting these women. It's Iraq 39. It's Iraq 39 and 29. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sword strokes, and those were sword strokes that those men were, those spirits were doing in those men. In the time of destruction, they poured out their force and appeased the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hell, famine and death, all of these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is. And when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. Yeah, all these laws Esau has, and the government may have, the city may have, that's gonna mean nothing in that day. Even right now, present time, with the society all still functioning, the police still available, that there's men that's out here murdering women, man, taking control of these women, putting the power in their own hands. So how much more when the society is all collapsed, man? And I want to share this. I gotta share this one here.
Now the latest incident of bystander shaming. This time, it's a mom asking a woman in a skimpy bikini to cover up because her sons couldn't stop staring. Now the mom is being criticized.
Let me get your covered.
This is one angry mom. She shamed a young woman on the beach for wearing a skimpy bikini.
See those three little boys over there? Yeah. Those are my boys. They're staring at your which is hanging out in the middle of a public place. Do you need a pair of shorts? Because I have an extra pair. What do you mean? Let me get your covered. That's what I mean.
Now she's being called Bikini Karen. Yep, meet the new so-called Karen creating a stir. Oria Miranda says she was enjoying a beautiful day when she was confronted at a lake in upstate New York. She spoke to Inside Edition reporter Allison Hall.
Okay. What were you wearing? I was wearing a swimsuit.
Can you show it to us?
It was this.
No question, it was quite revealing, particularly from the back. The 24-year-old student from Mexico says she tried to deal with the situation in a...
And that's also why that woman there has a point. Because you shouldn't be out here dressed like that. The Lord's going to have judgment. That's exactly why the Lord's going to have these crazy-ass axemen out here that's going to be perverted and diabolical men out here with these spirits, created vengeance out here to get your woman, especially you Israelite woman. Not just these prostitutes, and right now they just target these prostitutes. And the serial killers that do that shit, though, they gotta do that strategically, though, because they can't just target any old body. But in that time, it's gonna be you more. They're gonna have a choice on what kind of better options, man, to target. They're gonna have better women to target, more upscale victims. You know what I mean? To kill and touch and stuff like that. Right now, these serial killers, they can only target drug addicts and women that's homeless that people don't really know. Well, if they kill, they ain't gonna notice.
Reasonable way.
Okay. Thank you. I don't need my
There
boys.
is a rule that say that?
Yeah, there is. It's called nudity. You can't be nude on the beach. Oh, it's like this. This is a public place.
She was angry because I was trying to be myself, because I was trying to do something.
Yeah, that's the problem with the rebellious ass Israelites, man. You want to be yourself. I respect for your elders and stuff like that, man. English.
That I love, right, which is making videos.
Oria says she asked a worker at the public beach if her bikini was okay, and she was given the
I mean, literally got to cover it right there. That's hypocrisy. That's ridiculous, man. In this photo, they literally got to cover her stuff up right there. And that's what she was wearing. So this shit is off. This chick is completely fucking off, man. Her spirits is fucking disgusting, man.
thumbs up.
Will you wear that bikini to the beach or any other beach again?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Ms. Miranda posted the
No, that's why she's gonna get judged, man. Watch her head end up in the box one day, man. Blood all on it. Type of scenario. That's why it's Proverbs 1 and Proverbs 1 in this verse 22. How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity, and scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? Yeah, they hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called and you refused, I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have said, I know all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. So she's a, you can tell in her spirit, she's not about counsel or reproof. She's not embarrassed or ashamed to be addressed like that. And she don't even have a man. So don't be fooled by this kind of spirit. To you young women out there, young girls out there, this is some type of stuff you need to be and should be embarrassed about, man. Dressed like that out there, taking photos out by yourself, especially if you don't even have a man. You're out there just taking photos by yourself, showing your body all happy like that, like on having a social media life. Having that false reality like type of life where basically your life is in social media. You don't have an actual life, like you don't have a man or a husband. This woman has a husband, you can tell, is her Instagram account or whatever account she's using, Facebook, to post these videos. More than likely Instagram is what mainly these women use to show their body and stuff. They're on Facebook too, and whatever social media, man. X, stuff like that.
She's being called Bikini Karen. Yep, meet the new so-called.
And really, they're just degrading that woman there. She's really on point. To be honest, I'm not correcting that girl too. On top of it, because she's younger than her. That's the problem with America right now, man. Talk down on somebody that's old and that's trying to correct the younger generation, and you call them all these things and all these names, but they actually be having points, and they're actually on the right side, man. That's America for you. That's these people for you. Hence why this place is gonna be destroyed. Is you have no order and no respect for the elders, man. That woman there is technically her elder. And I perceive through the spirit she is an Israelite, because for her to have that much sense, to her to want to correct that woman, that's sense. She has some sense about her, respect about her, self-respect about her, man. So shout out to that woman there for doing that, and thumbs down, boo to that other young girl there. Boo to you. But yeah, man, that's why the scriptures say, man, learn not the way of the heathen. That woman there has learned, that young girl there has learned the way of the heathen. So, Jeremiah 10:2, learn not the way of the heathen. Yeah, learn not the way of the heathen. Yeah, so that's why a lot of women are going to be getting judged, because scriptures say, see, Proverbs 11:22, beauty is in a woman without good judgment. Yeah, and that young girl there doesn't have good judgment. She's already, that's proud. That's arrogant. Her spirit. Instead of agreeing with her and getting and feeling embarrassed because she should be embarrassed. That's embarrassing. You going out there by yourself. Pretty sure she was by herself. At that age, she should be already have a man and being submissive in her house, learning how to be a woman. She's not doing that. This society, this age, this generation doesn't teach our woman that. So you can be out there showing your ass off, and because America wants to accept everything, man. They want to accept everything and everybody, man. But you notice how they don't teach women or push on a woman, especially the Israelite woman, or any woman actually, yeah, even on being modest and a good wife, and bringing them up on being a wife. That's how you women are supposed to find success, not in some college or graduate degree, none of that, man. Education. You're supposed to be a wife, not just any wife, but a good wife, man, who's gonna praise her man, uplift her man. 1 Corinthians 11 and honest, actually 2 Timothy 2:9. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, shamefacedness, and sobriety, not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly, or array. Yeah, it says right there, and modest apparel. Modest means covered up, respectful. That's the definition of modest apparel, though. A woman dressed in modest apparel, showing respect toward herself. That woman doesn't have respect toward herself because she's just showing everybody her goods. You just say don't just talk about not casting your pearls before swine. Your woman's pearls is your body. So if you're just doing that, it shows you don't respect yourself, man. You don't have any type of standard for yourself. So people like that should just die. When people like that die, they pass away, you really you shouldn't even feel bad for them. I ain't. I'm not.
22 people have gone on trial in France on charges of murder and other serious crimes, centered on members of a Masonic lodge accused of running hit squads. Those in the dock include 4 military personnel from France's Foreign Intelligence Service, 2 police officers, a retired domestic intelligence officer, a security guard, and 2 business executives. One victim, who survived 2 assassination attempts, explains the consequences of the attacks.
Trouble du stress post-traumatique dont je n'arrive pas à sortir en fait depuis 6 ans, ça revient par épisode. Cancer et puis exclusion de ma profession également. Voilà, ça fait quand même beaucoup de choses.
Most of the accused, aged between 30 and 73, have no previous criminal records. They are accused of murder, attempted murders, aggravated assault, and criminal conspiracy, all on behalf of a mafia network inside the former Athener Masonic Lodge in a Paris suburb.
Well, just when you thought maybe.
Yeah, there's hence shit like that in Masonic lodges. Just showing you how it goes down and really goes down in those Masonic lodges. You have Judah that can join certain Masonic lodges. Well, those are really called black lodges, man. They can't join the whites in those Masonic lodges. No black person has ever entered into a Grand Lodge. It's showing you how Esau ain't trying to incorporate you along with him in that. So you Jakes who join that, you're really just stupid. The enemy doesn't want your ass. He doesn't want you associating with him. You can't partake in your enemy's kingdom, man. His benefits in his kingdom.
Dallas police say a young woman killed a 13-year-old boy and then lied about it.
So they're murderers. Esau's a murderer. Esau's ruling. He's going to increase murder. And hence why the wicked is increased. Double mani's going to wax cold. You got Jakes losing their minds out here. Demons possessing them, man. And plus on top of it, the Lord's made them reprobates to not get this word. They're gonna get an even worse fate. It's doomed to happen over that. That's the worst combination you have.
You say 18.
Well, you're reprobate. You're in your enemy's kingdom. He's allowing wickedness to increase, so now that's gonna affect you. You ain't got your actual prophets, leaders ruling to lead you. Now you're even in a worse case scenario. So you Jakes are gonna have to judge Esau when you come back. Man.
Year-old Sarai Griffin shot 13-year-old Marcus Reeves Jr. after he knocked on her door. Police say Griffin called 911 and claimed she shut the door and then heard gunfire, but a witness on a video call heard something else. Fox 4's David Centenary spoke with family members about this tragic killing. David.
And the 18-year-old woman is here at the Dallas County Jail. Today, we have obtained some court records about this case, but we still do not know ultimately what led to that 13-year-old boy being shot and killed.
This type of feeling like, get better, it get worse every day.
Marcus Reeves Sr. always wanted a junior, and he got his wish.
He's just a happy kid.
A blessing to watch his child grow into a teenager, but last month, Marcus Reeves Jr. was shot and killed after knocking on someone's front door in Dallas's Redbird neighborhood.
What could a 13-year-old do or have done to be shot in his head?
On Friday, 18-year-old Soraya Sanford Griffin was arrested by U.S. Marshals and charged with the 13-year-old's murder.
She killed Marcus. She's a killer.
The boy's family does not know why.
We're really trying to figure it out, and we want answers, and we want justice.
According to an arrest warrant affidavit, Reeves Jr. went to the suspect's home off Pintail Court, asking to speak with another juvenile at the home.
Yeah, he went to knock at the door to see a friend that lives there.
That juvenile and Griffin told police they spoke with Reeves Jr., then closed the door and heard gunshots. Griffin claims Reeves was seen lying on the ground outside, so she called 911. But police have reason to believe she lied. According to the arrest warrant, a witness on a video call with the juvenile in the home heard the gunshots and yelling, hearing, quote, "Soraya, you shot him."
I want the younger folks to put the guns down. There's too many young children with guns for no reason.
The arrest warrant does not explain why the shooting happened or what words may have been exchanged at the front door.
Losing a child is a pain. It's hard to get over. It's hard to let go.
Reeves Sr. says he does not know his son's alleged killer, but hopes she's given a maximum punishment.
Parents can only do so much. The neighborhood people can only do so much. Police can do so much. But the justice system got to crack down with it. Because there's too many kids catching cases and getting away with it or thinking they won't get life sentences.
Again, Griffin is here at the Dallas County Jail. However, her bond amount has not yet been set. Steve, back to you.
All right, David Centenary reporting live. Thank you very much.
This home here behind me at 23 Broad Street in Wilson Park, that's where police say the vicious attack happened. According to prosecutors in court today, the victim's son yelled at his mom during the attack, quote, "Why aren't you dying?" and, quote, "Why are you still breathing?" Now this afternoon, we have new video where you actually hear Nassau County Police as they first respond to the home. Officials say they responded to 23 Broad Street just before 6 p.m. yesterday. Here, the 75-year-old woman, who police and prosecutors did not identify, told detectives that her son attacked her inside her home after the two got into an argument that turned violent. According to Nassau County Police and prosecutors, 37-year-old John Strano pushed his mother to the floor, repeatedly slammed her head on the ground, punched her in the face more than 36 times, and struck her with a metal clamp before fleeing the scene. Nassau County Police located Strano about a mile away away from the home on the baseball field at Center Street Elementary School, where he was arrested hours after students had left for the day. The Herrick School District said it is aware of the situation, but has no comment. Back here in the neighborhood, witnesses told us what they saw.
I was coming up to the avenue to go to the store, and as I made a left right here on the block, I could see like 15 to 20 cop cars. I'm like, wow, this is serious.
Nassau County Police say the victim was seriously injured but is in stable condition at the hospital. Strano pleaded not guilty to a slew of charges, including second-degree attempted murder, 2 counts of second-degree assault, criminal obstruction of breathing, and fourth-degree criminal possession of a weapon. The judge ordered he be held without bail. We're in Wilson Park. Pushed his mother to the floor, repeatedly slammed her head on the ground, punched her in the face more than 36 times, and struck.
A family is shaken after doorbell video caught a man with a gun trying to kick in their apartment door. It happened on Legacy Park Drive off Lawrenceville-Swanee Road in Gwinnett County. Channel 2's Gwinnett County Bureau Chief Matt Johnson is live there now. And Matt, police are really looking for this suspect now.
Yeah, the family is terrified about this. They actually moved out of the apartment over this, not knowing who this person is who showed up in the middle of the night. And now it appears police believe that they may have been sent there.
At first, it looks like nothing out of the ordinary as 2 people knock on an apartment door in Gwinnett County. But one of them has a gun in his waistband, while the other asks if a woman sent them to the right place. 12 hours later, the same man comes back alone with a gun and starts kicking. This time he's wearing a mask and the same shorts as before, and police already have the evidence they need to identify him.
He then tries to cover his face up after showing his face already on camera.
Detectives identified 21-year-old Sonny Stevens of Lawrenceville on Friday and charged him with attempted home invasion and possession of a gun during a felony. The family on the other side of the door never opened it, and the door held last Sunday morning at around 1. It happened at the Preserve and Legacy Parks apartments near Lawrenceville-Swanee Road. The man inside told officers he had never seen the suspect and had no idea why he was there.
We don't know what the confrontation would have been about, but he was not authorized to be there, had no reason to be there.
Police say they couldn't find Stevens on their own, so now they need the public's help before he shows up at another door.
Whereabouts are unknown.
And police are urging anyone who knows the whereabouts of this suspect to call Gwinnett County Police. Live in Gwinnett County, Matt Johnson, Channel 2 Action News.
Matt, good thing the door held, and also even better that there's video to help police out. Thank you. We do have more details now. Every year, there are about 1.6 million home invasions in the U.S. Most burglars break in assuming that you're not home. So if you do become a victim of a break-in, you're advised to not confront the person, keep quiet and don't move. Nearly all municipalities have the ability to receive text messages to 911, which can help in an emergency like
So they're just running for no reason? Yes. Hey, y'all just gotta go that way. Come on, go.
You're so funny. My mom's so
Hey, face the door. All right. You have anything in your pocket?
She's gonna get you. Yes, I have a taser and I have.
You have a taser? Underage?
Said they saw someone grab a gun out of a trash can, put it in his jacket, and then go inside.
I'm 16. I'm 16. Everybody incarcerated? Yep. How old are y'all? 14, 15. Dude, how you doing? I'm saying, though, he said CT with no reason. You didn't ask him for what reason, though? I don't have to. What do you mean you don't have to ask him? That don't make no sense.
5, the father of a 16-year-old girl killed during a community celebration at Piedmont Park, says too many children are losing their lives to gun violence. And he says a public park should not be a war zone. Channel 2's Tom Jones is live in Midtown at the park. And Tom, several young people were shot or killed just this past weekend.
Yeah, Karen, as you well know, we've reported on a number of young people getting shot and killed even, especially this past weekend. One pastor called it an epidemic. A child psychologist told me that this is not normal. The father of that 16-year-old girl says she should have been able to come to a park like this one and not get killed.
I'm hurting a lot.
Terrell Robinson told me he has spent his life working and loving on his kids, especially his 16-year-old daughter, Tiana.
Now it's just erased, just like that.
Tiana was shot and killed at Piedmont Park during a 404-day celebration Saturday. The gunfire also wounded a 15-year-old girl.
I'm hearing that it was people that was going to war with each other, and she just was in the way as an innocent bystander.
Tiana joins the long list of young people killed or wounded by gunfire recently. Just this past weekend, gunfire also killed a 3-year-old. 4 teens were shot on Spark Street Sunday. Child psychologist Rosalind Pitts-Clark says the shootings leave some kids with anxiety, while others normalize it, theorizing it's the way life is.
But it's not. This is not normal, and this is not how our society should function.
Clark says there are a number of problems that contribute to what we're seeing. Too many children have access to guns and peer pressure to get one.
If your peers are carrying guns, you're more likely to carry a gun.
Bishop Michael Canyon with Assembly of Truth Ministries often speaks out about youth gun violence. He says kids are seduced by a society that glorifies violence.
Look at the music. Money, girls, and guns.
All Terrell Robinson knows is his baby girl is gone.
We just want justice, and we want to definitely get some change in Atlanta.
And one change he'd like to see is more security checkpoints and more police presence at large-scale events like we saw this weekend. Go to the store on our website to see how you can help the family out with a GoFundMe account that's set up. We're live in Midtown Atlanta at Piedmont Park. Tom Jones, Channel 2 Action News.
And Tom, we talked about this. We're seeing so many of them. So many people have just become accustomed to them. It's not what we want to happen. We want a change.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I just saw in this recent clip that I just paused. 16-year-old killed. And that's why I think the iniquity has abounded. As you got false pastors like that, who are just as corrupted as the crimes. Esau doesn't bring a solution. He continues to increase the problem. Hence why iniquity shall abound, because iniquity shall increase. The love of many is going to wax cold. You increase wickedness. You show that you encourage wickedness. That you can get away with it. Certain people, most people too, they may not be necessarily want to be evil, but they'll become evil too. So technically, they will be evil, you could say, because they'll see there's no benefit in doing good. Why should they? And that's also off. You shouldn't just want to be doing good because you can get something from it. You're supposed to do good either way. If you get a bad harvest or a good harvest, this is Malachi 4, and the Lord is always going to reward you. Give you a good harvest. Harvest, though. That's promised. That's written. This is Malachi 4. Let me try to. I'm gonna find the verse. That's why it says in Malachi 4 and actually Malachi 3 and they're 10. No, Malachi 3 and 15, verse 15. And now we call the proud happy. Yeah, they that work wickedness are set up. Yeah, like that pastor right there. I know something ain't right about his spirit. I could just look at him and I know something ain't right about this pastor's spirit, man.
Youth gun violence. He says kids are seduced by a society that glorifies violence.
Kids are seduced by that's the statement he made is on point.
Look at the music.
Yeah, but that pastor ain't right, man. Not just because he's bald and he has his beard all cut up. That's besides the point. He ain't right because I discern that he knows the truth. He ain't pretty speaking the truth. He's making money off of that violence though. He ain't gonna stop wanting to make that money. That's why he's not really a true pastor.
Money, girls, and guns.
Yeah, he's just an actor. He's
Too many children have.
Who knows what he does in the back? Who knows what he says in the back? That's why you just can't just be simple, man. And looking at Jake is simple and just looks at the suit and at what they saying, but not their spirit, man. You gotta see and discern it through their spirit. That dude ain't right. And yeah, he got his beard. Yeah. But yeah, these are our judgments, man. Iniquities has abound. This guy this woman shot this 13-year-old because she was probably smoking weed. She got paranoid and so she shot this guy. That's why it's a lot of disorder. And then this is correct looking dude with long hair, weird looking hair, weird looking dude. Just did some fucked up shit, man. Disturbing ass stuff, man. And beat on his basically killed his mom, I think, or attacked his mom real brutally.
This home here behind me at 23 Broad Street in Wilson Park, that's where police say the vicious attack happened. According to prosecutors in court today, the victim's son yelled at his mom during the attack, quote, "Why aren't you dying?" and quote, "Why are you still breathing?" Now this afternoon we have...
Yeah, so Jake is bugged out. These Jakes want to try to rob his home.
A family is shaken.
And failed. Yeah, and then in this video you had these young niggas, didn't even know how to rob a house. He went back to the same house in the same shorts.
And there. At first, it looks like nothing out of the ordinary as two people knock on an apartment door in Gwinnett County, but one of them has a gun in his waistband, while the other asks if a woman sent them to the right place. 12 hours later, the same man comes back alone with a gun and starts kicking. This time he's wearing a mask and the same shorts as before, and police already have the evidence they... Nothing out of the ordinary as two people knock on an apartment door in Gwinnett County, but one of them has a gun in his waistband, while the other asks if a woman sent them to the right place. 12 hours later, the same man comes back.
So yeah, man. And this is when shit is still running once again. Things are still fairly accessible. This is Jeremiah 16 and I'll get Jeremiah 14 and alright. Nah, never mind. I'm gonna get this instead. Yes, a lot. This is actually Jeremiah 4 and 23. I looked at the earth. It was a barren waste. At the sky there was no light. I looked at the mountains, they were shaken, and the hills were rocking back and forth. I saw that there were no people. Even the birds had flown away. The fertile land had become a desert. The cities were in ruin because the Lord's fierce anger, the missiles of destruction that the Lord is going to bring. 27. The Lord has said that the whole earth will become a wasteland, but that He will not completely destroy it. The earth will mourn, the sky will grow dark. The Lord has spoken and will not change His mind. He has made His decision and will not turn back. Yeah, because the Lord has to destroy this place. If all those videos I just played that you just watched, Lord willing, you got the point there. The Lord has to destroy this place. This place is gone. The people are gone. Particularly Jake's minds are gone. That's why we're cursed. That's why we're not looked at as a nation. Because the Lord hasn't raised us up yet. He hasn't restored us back yet. In due time, the Lord's going to do this, but this is our punishment as well. Hosea 4 and 6. Brought that out earlier. I brought that out earlier in Deuteronomy 4 and 7. Well, other than that, 7, actually, Deuteronomy 4 and 6. Observe them carefully, for this will show your wisdom and understanding to the nations, who will hear about all these decrees and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. And that's not happening right now. 2/3 aren't given the Spirit right now. And then us who are given the chance, we're still not perfect right now. The Lord has to come and restore this place. I mean, yeah, this earth. And the starting with His people. So anyway, yeah, that's why that has happened. And then you had this teen takeover. Just showing you how the Lord has made what these women give birth to monsters.
You're so funny. My mom's so
Hey, face the door. All right. You have anything in your pocket?
She's gonna get you. Yes, I have a taser and I have.
You have a taser? Underage?
Said they saw someone grab a gun out of a trash can, put it in his jacket, and then go inside.
I'm 16. I'm 16.
Yeah, so this is just going into how our people are destroyed. Hence why this place is gonna have to be destroyed. This 14-year-old got shot there. That 13-year-old got shot. Those were both a black girl and black boy there.
This isn't the first time something like this has happened in our area. Reporter Rachel Perry has been looking into similar cases we've seen locally.
This is the third case we've covered just in the last 4 months involving what officials are calling a random attack. In each case, the victim has been a woman, and all of them have happened in public. Just days before Christmas, police say Antonio Moore walked into a Palm Beach Gardens Barnes & Noble bookstore and stabbed a woman. The victim, Rita Londrich, died a short time later. Court records show Moore told police he didn't know her and stabbed her only because she was the closest person to him. Officials deemed it a random attack. 2 months later on a Martin County beach, officials say a woman was attacked by a complete stranger while talking on the phone.
He said nothing. He literally didn't say a peep.
Nothing. He just grabbed my phone, threw it, and then just started attacking me.
Investigators say Alexander Hernandez Gonzalez dragged the woman into the ocean and held her underwater. He was arrested on an attempted murder charge. That leads us to Thursday afternoon when this quiet Stewart community turned into a crime scene. Martin County Sheriff John Boonseek says an elderly woman was stabbed to death while walking her dog.
At this point, this appears like an extremely violent, random act of violence.
I spoke with a former police officer and safety expert who says things like concealed carry and pepper spray are good tools to have, but he encourages people to also use the buddy system.
You just don't know when that's going to happen. So sticking together is really important. Most attackers are rarely going to go after, a pair two.
Saying being aware and prepared can save your life.
What you want to do is make sure that any potential suspect that's approaching you, you're aware that they're there and that you're going to take action. You're not laying down as a victim. That's the most important thing you can do.
He also tells me it appears everyone nearby did the right thing by calling 911, saying it's a
Violent, random act of violence.
I spoke with a former police officer and safety expert who says things like concealed carry and Rita Londrich died a short time later.
He said nothing. He literally didn't.
On an attempted murder charge. That leads us to Thursday afternoon when this quiet Stewart community turned into a...
You had 4 separate accounts there of this woman getting randomly attacked. Some of them got killed. So those women got attacked. The 2 of them, they're mentioned. This is South Florida. 4 women got attacked on separate occasions in the span of December. Let's see, January, February, March. In the span from January to April, basically. January. In the span of 3 months, basically, you had 4 accounts of these random attacks on women. So that's from the spirit. Spirit's created for vengeance. They're gonna start targeting more of you women.
Tonight, over in Washington County, investigators are giving us a better idea of what exactly led up to the shootings at a converted airplane home in Hillsborough. Well, officials tell us deputies were actually on the way after getting a call about a party there before 2 people were shot.
Two teens have now been detained. We want to know more about a history of concerns at this specific property as well. Ariel Salk live tonight with some new details. Ariel?
Yeah, neighbors tell me that they are fed up. They say that the parties have gotten worse over the last several years and they're ready for a change.
Dayz, Ariel?
Yeah, neighbors tell me that they are fed up. They say that the parties have gotten worse over the last several years and they're ready for a change.
It's growing.
Many events and concerts over the years, according to the owner.
It's always been his big joy to have this airplane and show people around, but now it's kind of getting tired.
Over the weekend, the Washington County Sheriff's Office tells me they got multiple calls that around 200 teens were partying and drinking alcohol at the airplane house.
In this case, deputies are on their way to go disrupt this party.
When a deputy got to the property, he says he heard gunshots. That's when more 911...
A former English teacher going viral after posting a raw and unfiltered farewell video as she leaves the classroom behind after just 3 years. Listen.
A lot of these kids don't know how to read because they have had things read to them, or they can click a button and have something read out loud to them. I just don't think these kids even care. They don't care about making a difference in the world. They don't care about how to have a resume. They don't care how to write a resume. They don't care how to write a cover letter because ChatGPT will just do it for them. And I think that we need to cut off technology from these kids.
So this place is true, man. This place is true, as you see.
Well, a man says he was afraid for his life as he was attacked by a man who he stopped to help on the side of a Central Florida expressway.
That man is now in jail facing multiple charges. This happened Monday morning on the 429 expressway near the Sidell Road exit in Winter Garden. West 2's Justin Shecker talked with the victim.
I don't want to lose my humanity. We're put on this earth to help each other.
And that's exactly what Hans Hamilton tried to do Monday morning on the 429 Expressway in Winter Garden.
I saw a car crashed. I saw a door open. So being a good person, any human being would see, you would just pull over to check.
As Hamilton parks his Tesla, the man in the red t-shirt appeared to be lying motionless on the ground, next to a white Lexus that had slammed into a guardrail.
I rolled down my window. Hey, are you okay? Are you okay? No response. So I'm thinking, this person's dead. So I open up my car door. As soon as I opened that car door, he was off that ground. So he was waiting.
This video from a camera in his car shows the man hop on the hood of the Tesla, and he starts stomping on the windshield.
So that's on a little incline at 429. It pulled me out of my car. As I was falling backwards, he was jumping off the roof on top of me. And that's when he started kicking and pummeling me.
A different camera captured the ambush attack, and the man repeatedly punching his head.
I know on the back of my head they counted 8 different bumps. Plus the kicks to the jaw, which I can finally today, I'm able to eat a thin sandwich, but I still can't open my mouth all the way.
Hamilton says the suspect, later identified as 44-year-old Daniel Coman, threatened to take his life.
So the whole time he's hitting me, he's telling me he's going to kill me. And he didn't just tell me. His eyes were void of any humanity. I believed it. So when I was fighting, I knew the last thing I was going to see was not that ground.
Hamilton explained how he managed to get off the ground and away from his attacker.
I cannot beat him strength-wise. So
Yeah, bro, so that's the point. That's the point.
Americans have seen the high prices at the pub since the war with Iran began, when drivers are experiencing sticker.
You can screenshot that, but kinda, that's the point on that one. Malachi 3 and verse. Now you are cursed with a curse. You have robbing me, even this whole nation. Yeah, so this nation Israel is cursed, and I also brought that out in Deuteronomy 28. On down in verse 28, the Lord shall smite thee with madness, blindness, and astonishment of heart. Yeah, those jakes and those videos. They're smitten with madness, blindness, astonishment of heart. And then Hosea 4 and 6. My people are short for lack of knowledge. Matthew 24:12. Because in wickedness shall increase, the love of many will grow cold. Deuteronomy 4. That was verse 5. 6. Observe and do this, for this is your wisdom and understanding to the nations. This will show, observe the Lord's laws, for this will show your wisdom to the nations. Yep. Spirits created for vengeance, Sirach 39. Proverbs 1. I will, because thou hast rejected my reproof. Proverbs 1 and 25. Ye have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear becomes 26, and that's the case with most of our people. We brought out Jeremiah 14, I think. No, Jeremiah 4. In the GNT verse 28, the earth will mourn, the sky will grow dark, the Lord has spoken, and will not change his mind yet. Hence why this place is going to have to be destroyed before, so that we can begin a new Foundation. 29. At the noise of the cavalry and archers, everyone will run away. As the archers are the missiles. Some will run to the forest, others will climb up among the rocks. Every town will be left empty, and no one will live in them again. 30. Jerusalem, you are doomed. Why do you dress in scarlet? Why do you put on jewelry and paint your eyes? And that's a metaphor for how our people are who may not have been in those videos or in those kinds of situations yet, as of yet, at least not yet. And that's the spirit they're in. That ignorance is bliss spirit. That see no evil, hear no evil mindset, set illusion therein. They're in that illusion. Hence why they're likened unto that woman there. That's that woman of Jerusalem, putting jewelry, putting her makeup on, making herself beautiful for nothing. This is right there. You are making yourself beautiful for nothing, basically. You're basically trying to enjoy yourself here for nothing, because we are, as we see in those clips, those videos, this place is polluted. It's gone. It's gone. Hence why the prophecies are coming to pass. The mark of the beast will soon come to pass. Those who are sealed with the right hand, with the right mark, they know what's coming. They're going to avoid that way and go the other way. So the elect are blessed with the protection and the knowledge, the wisdom the Lord has given us. Why do you put on jewelry and paint your eyes? You are making yourself beautiful for nothing. Your lovers have rejected you and want to kill you. And those lovers there is this kingdom here. This kingdom is the heathens. Your lovers have rejected you and want to kill you. Yeah, that's why you jakes that and try to. That's why these bad things happen to our people. That's why Jake's complaining all the time, but they're complaining and not finding you using the correct solution to their issue, their problem, the curses, the rebuke the Lord has subjected us into. That's why we're cursed, because the Lord has cursed us. But Jake tries to avoid the curses by continuing in wickedness, to increase his wickedness. You're supposed to do the opposite and seek righteousness, humility, and righteousness. Starting with this truth, this word. Hence why his word is a blessing, but it's also a tragedy. But you're blessed because the Lord looking out for you. You ain't like one of these jakes that are out here beating on their mothers or killing their babies. Is a correct girl killed her baby, buried her baby. That one Jake beat on his mom, beat on her. Told her why ain't she dying? And he kept beating on her over an argument. They had a 13-year-old shot, and then another 14-year-old little black girl shot. The other 13-year-old was a black boy male shot by this woman, and then yeah, because that woman was a dyke. She was a dyke, and she looked like she smoked weed. For some reason, these black women that are dykes, they always smoke weed and shit. I don't get it. And they always when you see a black woman that's a lesbian, she's always smoking weed for some fucking reason, man. But she basically, if she wouldn't have been smoking weed and being a fucking dyke in her off ass mind, her reprobate mind, the Lord gave her up to, that boy wouldn't have ever been gotten shot. But see, then them jakes ain't the family of that boy ain't innocent either. You can also argue. That's how I gotta say it. Hurts to say, but I gotta say it anyway. They also ain't innocent because they're not keeping the law, statutes, commandments. They're not worshiping Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. So we're worthy of it. So Lord is the king of terror. He's the king of terror. Jeremiah 4 in the GNT, continuing on in 30. You're dawned down and want to kill you. 31. I heard a cry like a woman in labor. He screamed like a woman bearing her first child. It was the cry of Jerusalem grasping for breath. That's us in these curses. Like we're grasping for breath. We don't even know we're grasping for breath, but that's what's going on. Stretching out her hand and saying, I am doomed. They are going to come in to kill me. Yeah, and that represents when Jacob's trouble fully comes. A lot of Jakes are going to be crying, stretching out their hands, crying out for help. It reminds me of 70 AD. It's kind of like 70 AD already happening. Basically, so imagine when it fully is. This is already like close enough to 70 AD already. While it's not even all the way ramped up yet. So I can only imagine when this fully breaks down, and then I'm not even mentioning the economic collapse that the Lord's going to bring to pass. On top of all this, you got bug outs and people losing their minds, killing and shooting their guns already right now for nothing. While society's running, so imagine when things are really more personal to these people. When Esau really loads up on these people, man. Jeremiah 5 and the GNT 15. People of Israel, the Lord is bringing a nation from afar away to attack you. It is a strong and ancient nation, a nation whose language you do not know. Their archers are mighty soldiers who kill without mercy. They will devour your crops and your food. They will kill your sons and your daughters. They will slaughter your flocks and your herds and destroy your vines and fig trees. The fortified cities in which you trust will be destroyed by their army. The Lord says, yet even in those days I will not completely destroy my people. 19. When they asked, why I did all these things, tell them, Jeremiah, that just as they turned away from me and served other foreign gods in their own land, so they would serve strangers in a land that is not theirs. And that those strangers today, those heathens we're serving today in a land that's not ours, is these Edomites. And then I already showed those videos where Jake's are bugged out. Jake's lost his mind. Jake's out here beating on his mom. Jake's out here killing their babies, murdering their babies, getting away, doing some worse shit, because they done got DNs on them. Some of these Jakes really fully got a legion on them. They cannot get out of. So they're cursed. Our people, our nation is cursed. So you can't really even be surprised for a nigga that's speaking false visions. So you got Jakes out here beating their mothers and murdering their babies, touching kids. So you're gonna have something that in a way speaking as a man, in a way is worse than just speaking false prophecies, false visions. Still just as bad though. So you can't even be surprised. This is Jeremiah 11 in the GNT verse 5. Then I would keep the promise I made to their ancestors, that I would give them the rich and fertile land which they now have. I said, now have. I said, yes, Lord. Then the Lord said to me, go to the cities of Judah and to the streets of Jerusalem, proclaim my message there, and tell the people to listen to the terms of the covenant and to obey them. When I brought their ancestors out of Egypt, I solemnly warned them to obey me, and I have kept on warning the people until this day. But they did not listen or obey. Instead, everyone continued to be as stubborn and evil as ever. I had commanded them to keep the covenant, but they refused, so I brought on them all the punishments described in it. Yeah, that's till this day. It says, I have kept warning my people until this day, but they did not listen or obey. Everyone continued to be as stubborn and evil as ever. Yeah, and that's till this day with Jacob. Jeremiah 9:1. I wish my head were as a well of water, and my eyes a fountain of tears, so that I could cry day and night, for my people have been killed. I wish I had a place to stay in the desert where I could get away from my people. They are all unfaithful, a mob of traitors. They are always ready to tell lies dishonestly instead of the truth. Rulers the instead of the truth rules. Dishonesty instead of truth rules the land. The Lord says, my people do one evil thing after another and do not acknowledge me as their power. And that's how it is today. Look at those videos once again. Those videos I just showed. For everyone must be on guard against their friends, and no one can trust their relatives. For all relatives are deceitful as Jacob, and everyone slanders their friends. They are all misled. 5-6. They all mislead their friends, and no one tells the truth. Yeah, a lot of fake friends. Jake doesn't have real friends. He has fake friends. They have taught their tongues to lie and will not give up their sinning. Yeah, so that's why the Lord has to deliver us, because we ain't even perfect either in this truth. We're just as off as these niggas. The Lord has to deliver us, make us perfect. We're just filthy rags, even when you trying your best to please the Lord. The Lord mentions how in Psalms the heavens aren't even pure in His eyes. How much less this us in this earth here. And so that makes sense why we go off a lot, because we can't even reach the order that they can have in the heaven. So really, we're all just not even right in the eyes of the Lord, man. The Lord is gonna have to make us right. That's why it says, that's why it says, trust no man, because us as men, we're gonna go off. We're gonna let each other down. We can't trust in man. We gotta trust in the Lord. Yahweh Shai, that's why it says, the earnest expectation, we're waiting for the kingdom to get the different bodies, the perfect spirits. They have taught their tongues to lie and will not give up their sinning. A woman, especially, and the man, the nation. They do one violent thing after another, and one deceitful act follows another. Yeah, even just having off wicked thoughts on the brother you ain't really want to have do that to you going off. So we're off, man. We're completely going off on this side, and the Lord has to reset this place, destroy this place, and build the next place, the next kingdom. And so that fire, when the missiles come, that's gonna represent the reset, the purification, the purifying agent of the fire, as we always say. And before that comes, Jacob's trouble has to come to judge our people, to show them that, hey, the Lord sees your wickedness and will does judge it. This is Jeremiah 10:20. Our tents are ruined, the ropes that held them have broken, our children have all gone away. There is no one left to put up our tents again. There is no one to hang their curtains. This is what the houses are going to be destroyed. This is the land being destroyed right there. The tents are ruined, the ropes have broken. Jeremiah 9:10. 11. The Lord says, I will make Jerusalem a pile of ruins. He says that when the Babylonians came, when the Romans came. The Lord's going to do that this time again with these all these nations, the Russians, the Chinese, the Middle East Arabs coming in here and shooting down and a lot of Israelites, maybe even some of the elect. This judgment's coming. This is for our disobedience. We disobey the Lord, going back to the curses, Deuteronomy 28. What was that? And that was in Deuteronomy 28. 22, I think. And we fit this curse. We fit the curse right, this one here. Deuteronomy 28:20. The Lord shall send you curse and vexation and rebuke. That's why Jake's minds. That's why some of these Jakes have such demons on them, like how they do, because these curses are heavy on them as well. And then on top of them demons, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. Yeah. And ultimately, they ain't off because they want to be off. The Lord, that's their lot. That's their lot. That's why they'll come back perfect. Because the Lord knows that was their lot. He had to make them play. To balance it out, the Lord is going to make them perfect. When they come back to the kingdom, they'll be perfect. And 28 as well, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. And that's to even the jakes that don't go out there and do such over the top demon time type shit, because like killing their mothers and shit, raping their mothers. Some jakes don't go all the way. You don't see it in them all the way. The madness, blindness, astonishment of heart, smitten with madness spirit on them that heavily. You don't see that on most jakes like that, but even with mentally, with certain, spiritually, with certain bugged out thoughts they can have. You don't know what thoughts, wicked, weird bugged out thoughts or stuff going on in their minds, mental disorders they have like autism, ADHD, schizophrenia. Everyone, I always say everyone has a bit of, especially Jakes have a bit of paranoia or autism or schizophrenia, the demons like that, or bipolar, disease, mental illnesses like that. Yeah. A couple years ago, Jake was bragging about that type of shit. Cause a lot of Jakes have a lot of those mental disorders, man. Bragging about having those mental disorders. That's not a brag. That's not a flex, man. But because a lot of Jakes are faggots too, man. A lot of Israelites, a lot of Judites of our tribes. You got a lot of men in those tribes that aren't men. They want to be faggots. They want to be men and get popped by other men. Have a man bust his nut in they ass, man. And that's a mental disorder right there. But they could probably wave their hand and pop to you and smile at you and carry themselves somewhat. Just like no different from a junkie or a drug addict that's functional. They can still make it to work. They're the same. You got the same problem going on with them too. You could be a jealous. You could be a jig that suffers with getting jealous. You envy so much. You lie so much. You could be a glutton behind the scene. Jake gets out of the work. He orders all this fucking food. Takes it home, eats it all, just stuffs it down, stuffs it down. Jake said alcoholics. They may not go out there. These people may not go out there and murder and kill or do any of that, but they're alcoholics, functioning alcoholics, some so-called functioning alcoholics. My dad was an alcoholic, so these curses pass on. They pass on. They happen. Yeah, Jake's two fathers couldn't be in their life. The actual real father couldn't be in their life. That's a curse too. And that's a curse. He passed that curse on to his child. And then maybe that Jake grew up, he had a child, now he can't grow up with his child. That's a curse. That's a generational curse, right? Deuteronomy 20, that's a curse. Your enemy shall take the children. Esau, blame Esau for that. The way he functioned and raised up the society to be. That's why Esau's going to have to pay. But with that, that's the point. Shalom in the bar.